Hello all, and welcome to Swaying the Small Stuff, a show where we sweat over the details that make our world richer. I'm your personal brain trainer, Cameron.
And I'm your nutritionist, Sam.
So Sam, we recently saw a very popular brand new movie that just came out that everyone was super excited about, and it was amazing.
Were they?
Like the CGI budget for it was great, and the storytelling was immaculate, and it was just, there's just so much going on. I'm sure you know it's a big, we got to see it pretty early. It came from Sony, you know.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Men in Black. We saw Men in Black. Yes, unfortunately, we did not get into an early viewing of Spider-Man Far From Home, but we did see Men in Black because I think we both really enjoyed the heck out of Men in Black.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Men in Black series. I kind of grew up with it, I guess you could say, because, you know.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
He will be missed. Nothing bad has happened to him, knock on wood. But he will be missed. But we were watching it, and I kept having a moment during the movie where all I could think about was, are the Men in Black a police state?
Yeah, does the Men in Black organization control everyone or everything?
Exactly, because there's first of all, I'm going to do the worst possible thing and read you the Wikipedia description for what a police state is.
God, no, don't be one of those guys.
Okay, fine. We'll start with let's do some runaround.
That's like starting a paper with the definition of truth is blah blah blah.
Webster's dictionary defines a police state. No, I think the big thing for it was in the movies. I'll stay away from the definition.
No, you gotta go with this
fine.
now.
So the term designated a state regulated by civil administration, but characterized by overbearing presence of civil authorities. You know, like guys with guns who show up all the time and make people forget things. The inhabitants of a police state may experience restrictions on their mobility, such as not being able to leave the planet Earth, or on their freedom to express or communicate political or other views, such as that aliens exist, which are subject to police monitoring or enforcement.
Oh my God, you can't just insert your own definition into the definition.
Since the beginning of the 20th century, it has taken on an emotional and derogatory meaning by describing an undesirable state of living characterized by the overbearing presence of civil authority. All right, so I know that was a super dry definition, so let's try and take this line by line and really stick in where the Men in Black kind of fit into this. So the first one is a term that designates a state regulated by a civil administration. In this case, it's like they are a civil administration, but they're also not. And they talk about a lot of weird stuff they've done to kind of stay funded. If you thought about them, you'd think of them like a law enforcement agency or like a civil utility, but global.
Yes, and it's like they are kind of a civil administration, except that they're not really connected to any of the existing civil administrations. And they are a global organization that doesn't seem to be connected to all these countries and things. They're not in on it. They're their own thing in on it.
Here's the problem is they are, if you zoomed out, they are a civil administration where we as half of the population don't know they're a thing, and then the half of the population that's aware of them, they are a civil administration for. Half of the population that is aliens is fully aware that the Men in Black are running around doing stuff. And everyone else, us normal people, do not. If I get neuralized, now you'll know why.
That's a good point. All right, I'll give you that.
The second is it takes on an emotional and derogatory meaning by designing an undesirable state of living characterized by overbearing presence of civil authorities. So this one, less so because... Actually, I think this one more so. Because they neuralyze everyone, so they don't even know they're living in this state.
Yeah, I think the part that the unbearable living, I think you can argue about because is it really unbearable or all yada 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 that stuff. But overbearing presence, definitely overbearing presence.
Literally everywhere. And then in the newest Men in Black movie, they point out that a girl has lived a traumatic existence since her childhood because she saw Men in Black agents roll up, neuralize her parents. Everyone doesn't believe that she's ever seen an alien, even though she's always keen on it. And it's just Like, I guess all the guys that we see interact with her prior to her getting to join MIB think she's just a quirky girl. Like in all those stupid tropes and all those stupid summer rom-coms. But no, this is like a woman who has spent her life traumatized, and I can't believe that this is like the actual basis for her like character arc.
Well, and overbearing presence definitely because I think in every Men in Black movie, there's been some scene where they point out of like them having video footage set up or like surveillance footage where they are actively keeping tabs on some alien citizens. So like they are constantly watching them.
That brings us to our next sentence. The inhabitants of a police state may experience restrictions on their mobility, such as who can and cannot travel in certain areas, certain regions, on the planet, off the planet. They make passing jokes to them across all now 4 movies, and in every one they're overtly aware of their ability to restrict whether or not they said like was it they're in the girl runs into like a baby. It was an unlicensed some sort of alien.
Yeah.
That basically like it was unlicensed because it just wasn't allowed to live or move in this area.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, listeners, these are not spoilers. Like this is all
First
in the
5
trailer
seconds.
and very first thing. So no spoilers here.
Yeah. And then there's the freedom to express or communicate political or other views. This one's kind of like a catch-22 because aliens shouldn't be allowed to express views on this planet because like in their mind, like you wouldn't want these aliens meddling with human affairs, but at the same time, like it's weird. It's like I guess the closest thing you could think of is they would have asylum is like the most they would be able to express and assimilate, getting as close to being able to interact with us one-to-one human to alien culture.
Well, and I think I recall there is kind of an asylum system set up of like aliens coming into Earth for like.
Tommy Lee Jones makes a like goof about that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in I want to say the first movie where he's just like, "You remember the rules of your asylum was this or that?" Because it's like some crazy like, I guess it's what's it called when you go into hiding when the government pays for
witness protection.
Yeah, it's like witness protection or something.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of that going around on Earth, this planet that's hilariously ill-equipped to fight off aliens. And then the last thing, the thing you totally pointed out perfectly was subject to police monitoring or enforcement. Every single Men in Black movie has had a moment where they walk into HQ and there's a big, hilarious Jumbotron that's just like, look at all these faces. Look at all these faces. In the most recent one, I'll give it to you because the throwaway goof, Elon Musk, Donald Glover, I can pronounce his name. Well, who was the other one? I know
That was Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande, and then like in Men in Black 3, during like when they were back in time, it was like Bill Hader is monitoring all the old aliens, and it turns out that Andy Warhol was MIB under deep cover, and so it's just like it's a mix of like overt agents, like you'd expect like overt police officers patrolling the streets trying to keep the peace, and then undercover cops. It's weird to think that they wouldn't be allowed to express themselves and then have a multi-billionaire Elon Musk running around. Like, that's insane to think about, that their own system does not invite the subtlety they're trying to enforce.
Wait, what do you mean?
We just pointed out that, like, the aliens on Earth basically have to stick to some sort of enforceable code that says they cannot overtly tell people, yo, we aliens, what up?
Yeah.
But they still are able to accrue a hilarious amount of influence. Specifically in the fact that in the most recent movie, they tease that Elon Musk is an alien because he shows up on the alien monitoring thing.
I mean, part of this definition was allowing them, to not being allowed to express like political views or other kind of views. Well, I feel like the aliens have a lot of freedom in that because they are kind of in a witness protection and they kind of assume another identity and then it's hands off. Like as long as they assimilate into human affairs, it's fine.
Okay, I think that's a good point. Although I want to point out another problem with the police state is the fact that regardless of how they're expressing themselves, a surprising number of aliens get killed in these movies. Like if any police agency had the Men in Black's track record for murder, there would be that agency would not like that. Those police would be disbanded.
Okay, that's a good point because it's like, oh, you're fine if you assimilate well, but like there doesn't seem to be a trial and like jury stuff. Like
the very first time we meet the Men in Black, I think that might be the most justifiable. It's like I get it that they played a goof where it's like Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, or not Will Smith. It's like Tommy Lee Jones as old teammate buddy cop partner word. In the very first moment, the very first Men in Black movie, where we're introduced to this universe, like they're pulling over illegal aliens that are harboring an illegal extraterrestrial alien, which was a fun goof. And the alien is like weirdly chill with the Men in Black because he knows that they're dangerous. But then we get to see how murder happy he is when the cop comes over the ridge to look at like what's going on. And the alien turns around and he's running and he wants to kill the guy and they have to kill that alien. And so like this, I feel like in many ways you could draw a direct line to them having to shoot this alien. But that's the problem is like they have a lot of lethal, like in this movie, we went from assuming that Men in Black agents had like a gun or two on them to your car is made of guns. These guys are just packing hilarious amounts of heat constantly and nothing to like neutralize someone to bring them in for like some sort of due process.
Yeah, and like guns that like vaporize creatures,
Yeah.
not like just like you getting a bullet to the shoulder and so you can go to the hospital. No, like vaporize.
Literally like a dozen Judge Dredd's running around being judge, jury, and executioner on the fly. And I'm sure aliens introduce a lot of variants, but there's no law enforcement agency on the planet that we would consider to be part of a democracy that would be able to have this kind of hilarious authority to kill.
God, just think how crazy that is. Just think how crazy that this is the state of Earth and aliens want to still come here.
Yeah,
like,
that's actually a good point. That's like, this is the safest place? What's the rest of the galaxy look like?
Yeah, like...
And actually, this, I should point out, this is the last funny joke that I think you might have cracked wide open. Human beings are actively trying to go to space. And there's an entire global agency dedicated to keeping human beings from knowing that it's really easy to do that, and people from space come here all the time.
Yeah, and what, NASA's been featured in at least 2 of the films. I don't know about the first
just
2.
Like random goofs. Just like random goofs of like, this is a thing, that's a thing. This was a deep cover operation where this guy was going to do a thing. Like the Men in Black, the mission where in MIB 3 where like the rocket launches was like a covert operation to like activate a super satellite defense system to keep the Earth safe.
Yeah.
Like what's great about that though is like how it feeds into what we were just talking about, which is like the Men in Black might not want to let humans know that the galaxy is like teeming with life because it's horrifying. Like it's one thing for us to know that there are like aliens on Earth. It's another thing for us to know like it's trivial to actually travel to other planets. And also everyone on those other planets wants to come here because stuff there sucks.
Well, I mean, hey, it was in the very first film, Tommy Lee Jones telling Will Smith, like, why this is all a secret. He's like, basically, you cannot handle this.
Yeah.
Like, I think he gives a whole monologue of, like, yesterday, you were certain that this was true. Yes, you were certain that would have, like, basically blow everyone's mind, and you wouldn't be able to handle this.
Oh, man. I love that one line. It's like, a person is smart. People are irrational, scared, small-minded things.
Yes.
Oh man, I think that's it. I think we hit all the big points.
I think you won me over though. I think MIB is definitely a police state. Like
Now the real question is, can you ever really justify it? And that I leave to you listeners to tell us. If you think this is something that the MIB are doing their job well, let us know. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to say these guys are some really read your history books and understand why this is a problem kind of stuff. Anyway, that's it for us explaining the small stuff. I've been your personal brain trainer, Cameron Boozarjomehri.
And I've been your neural nutritionist, Sam.
If you have anything you'd like to let us know, or you want to let us kind of get your vibes on whether or not you think the Men in Black are doing their job or are definitely a police state that should be monitored more, you can hit us up on social media at Small Stuff Show. Hit us up on our Gmail, smallstuffshow@gmail.com. If you're on Reddit, go to our Small Stuff Show. Whenever the episode posts, there'll be a post there for you to comment on. And yeah, just let us know what you think. Anyway, I've been your personal brain trainer reminding you, from movies to media to the world around us, it's details like these that make it worth sweating the small stuff.
Dun, 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 dun.